All right, team, welcome back. We were just talking about how we have not had a team call in a couple weeks and we have all missed each other's faces, and it's just nice to see everybody again. It is Wednesday night, March 7th. And in my post in the team page, I said that I wanted to talk about action, and I wanted to talk. The typo came out, or the autocorrect came out rewording, and it's actually rewiring that we're going to talk about tonight. And I'm going to start it off by sharing just like a personal story, but I just feel comfortable with our team, and like we know enough about each other, and God knows you guys know more about me than most humans do, because I'm not an undersharer by any means. But I wanted to, this is really profound for me today, and it's just a really real topic, and it can just be such a metaphor for so much, particularly in life. So I think many of you know that I'm going to a PT, a physical therapist, for my pelvic floor. So if you don't, I think I've shared that on a team call, but if not, I've definitely shared it on Insta stories and on Facebook and that whole jam. So I am going for a number of different reasons. And I think you guys too, many of you have probably kind of pieced together from my past 4 years of coaching and you being in the team page. And fortunately, we do feel connected enough to each other and able to really share like the real life stuff, not just the business stuff, because it all matters, right? It's all wound into one. But so for me, my bodily function issues all really resonate in the same area. So I have suffered from IBS basically my entire life. Which, if you know, like Rachel can tell you, I sent her a text message the other night and it looked like I was 6 months pregnant, and I'm not. It's just my bloat is that bad and my gassiness is that bad, and I go to the bathroom once a week, and that's not an exaggeration, and it's just really awful. Like, and it's been like that for years and years, but it's become a norm, right? It's just in terms I'm wired that way. So yeah, it is painful. It sucks. So there's that. I'm going to forget one of them, but so IBS, gassiness, bloat. I had to go through IUI to get pregnant with both of my boys. And then tore, like full disclosure, some of you haven't had children, but tore during the delivery of both of my babies down in that area. So it's a really actually still uncomfortable area for me. And like, I know that this is like really raw and vulnerable, you guys, but like, here's the thing, like, this is life stuff that nobody talks about, that people need to talk about. People need to feel okay with talking about this stuff, because also when you don't feel normal and then you feel like there's no hope for you, you feel like you can't talk about things, it's really, really freaking lonely. So just that little message right there. Where are you feeling like that in your life and in your businesses? Where are the people that you are supporting? Where are your challengers feeling that? Perhaps it is something to do with the stories that they've been telling themselves their entire life about not being able to lose weight, or not being able to eat healthy, or having to really dive into emotional eating, right? Like, all of these things, we all have these really, really ingrained things within us. And that goes for us as coaches, because, oh, by the way, yes, we're coaches, but we're human too. And it goes for the people that we get to serve by way of this divine work within Beachbody coaching, but also life work, being a human, being a friend, being a mentor, being a guide, right? Like being a soul sister. Because yes, we run challenge groups. Yes, we've got team pages, but ultimately we freaking need tribe. And we need to provide other people with that safe place to come and have these moments of like, I feel really lonely right now, and I'm in pain, and I'm suffering, and I have told myself stories having to do with X, Y, or Z for so long that I don't even know that they're not even accurate. So let me just take it to the next level, okay? So, and like, seriously, this is going to get really real. But I haven't even told my husband this yet. I did come home and tell him that, oh my God, I've literally been pooping wrong my entire life. Like, this is like, we're going there. So I have IBS, and I literally, like I said, like I'm like so tall on my camera. Having bowel movements has been a painful experience for me, or a non-existent experience for me, like forever and ever, amen. And what I learned today was that, so your pelvic floor, basically it's connected to and it's affected by everything. So the way you're all sitting right now, your pelvic floor may be working its ass off, no pun intended, just by how you're sitting. And I had no idea, right? And so with all that it does down there, with all that it supports, we do not support it. We do not take action to ensure that that area for ourselves, typically as women, of course, this is very general, and some of you may have beautiful pelvic floors. I don't know. Mine needs some work. So all of this is happening, and I discovered today that actually for decades, and I'm not exaggerating, ever since I was a little girl, and I can psychoanalyze it back to, witnessing people that I knew and loved, who have, like, especially this area in the belly right here, which is my vulnerable spot, right? Like, this is the first place that I'll gain and lose weight, with or without kids, has been my whole life. And so I've learned to suck it in, right? Like, and how many of you have heard that saying, suck it in, just keep it sucked in? Yeah, right? So I literally, for decades, have walked around sucking it in, feeling tension here, right? And this gets, I mean, think about your challengers, friends, right? Like, how many people are literally walking around tense within their body because they are unhappy, or energetically something is off, or they have been pre-programmed and conditioned, and habits have been formed because of guilt or lack of self-confidence, or taking on the energies of other people. There's a lot of stuff. Like, it's not just a body, friends. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of stuff. So for decades, I have been walking around, the thought of just like letting my belly go has actually never been an option. I would lay in bed at night still not doing it. And what I have learned that has caused is a number of different things, but actually my low back, that's my other thing. You guys know I've hurt my back a couple times really badly and unexpectedly, and it's all connected. It's all connective tissue down here. So today we're in there, and she talked about tone versus tension, and you can't get toned when you're feeling tense. I'm going to repeat that. You can't get toned when you're feeling tense. So think about your exercises. If you're try lifting a dumbbell when you're tense. Like, you can't. You literally can't. Your body is too tense to lift a dumbbell, and it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. Your muscle is not going to flex in and out appropriately if you don't allow for the tension to release and for the tone to take place. So all of that, right? So I've been walking around like that forever. I've been walking around tense. So actually my abdominal muscles right here are super weak, and those are directly tied to the pelvic floor. Now, my obliques in this area right here have always felt really strong, but they've kind of been falsely strong because I've been telling my body that that's what strong is that tension right here, that walking around with the sucking in the gut and trying to hold back the gas, and like all of this stuff going on within me. And what that's been doing is not allowing my muscles to actually work the way they're supposed to work. So let's just go there, right? Like, so ultimately, when I sit down to go to the bathroom, I don't just sit and relax. Do you know that in a perfect world, you shouldn't have to push to go to the bathroom? Some of you might actually know that. I did not know that. That was a freaking mind-blowing concept for me. I was like, wait, what? Like, seriously? Because I have my entire life, and me going to the bathroom has been like I'm in and then I'm out, because I'm either not going to go, and that's usually the norm, or if I do, it's like a mass exodus, because finally my body's like, you might actually explode if, and you should move up to 2 feet a day as well. You should move up to 2 feet a day. I don't know. Oh, you should move up to 2 feet a day of poop. Oh yeah, that has never, ever, ever happened for me. That's fabulous though. Jess says, this is exactly me, seriously saying, or should I say holy shit? Thank you, Rachel, for the comic relief. So I share that with you because there's a number of different lessons that you can take away from this, right? The average healthy person poops 3 to 5 times a day. Yeah. I don't believe that for a second, because it's about like, right, like in terms of rewiring the way of thinking, to me, I'm like, no, that can't possibly be, right? Because you think that you're on with it. And so, and the fact, like, just like the thought of sitting on the toilet and like relaxing, that wasn't even that, seriously, you guys, like, you might laugh at me, but it wasn't even in my paradigm, because I have learned over years and years and years and years that is not what my body does. But actually, what I have learned is to wire my body a certain way. And all of that is all rolled into one, right? So isn't it interesting that all of my issues are in that lower pelvic region, which is connected to all these things? So I don't mean to freak you out, and I am not a PT. Like, go see a physical therapist if you feel like any of this is resonating with you. But like, I share so that you can recognize a couple of things. You, as human beings, have conditioned yourself to believe certain things, to act certain ways, because you haven't been challenged, or another option hasn't been presented to you, or you haven't allowed for yourself to think differently or ask another question, right? For me, I didn't know that sitting on the toilet and actually allowing for yourself to relax was a thing. I thought everybody would like zoomed in and out of the bathroom and like didn't go to the bathroom. I didn't know that physically my body shouldn't have to exert so much pressure to move things that can do it by themselves, but also, and it's an and both, I am prohibiting my body from doing what it's supposed to do by applying so much pressure. So it's like, I don't have the cognitive thought that this is not how it's supposed to be, but my one thought of how it is supposed to be is detracting from how it's supposed to be. So the lesson in that is, where in your life are you assuming, where in your business are you assuming that it's a certain way because it's always been a certain way and that's how it should be, but you've never actually asked the question, or you've never really opened up to the thought process that something else might actually be the right way of doing it for you. Right? Is any of this making sense? Or I mean, I know some of my conversations are out there. I'm pretty sure this one is like one of the biggest out there ones, but like, this is like deep grained stuff, guys. And I think that the coolest part about being a Beachbody coach in particular is that we care enough to be in the room to have these kinds of conversations and think differently. And look at your life, look at your body, look at your businesses with a different set of eyes. How often have you done an inventory on what you're doing and asked yourself, does this actually feel right anymore? Are things flowing here the way that I think maybe they should, or am I doing something that is literally like counterintuitive to what would actually make this flow better? So where can we take action? That was the other part of my topic for conversations for tonight. So we take action in the rewiring. We take action in, first of all, asking for help, or at least getting other eyes on what it is that you've got going on, right? I had to go to a physical therapist. I would have continued walking around like this for my entire life had I not sought out the help of another human being, a professional human being. I'm not saying that you guys have to go all enlist every doctor or specialist or coach or program or whatever, but I am saying it's important for you to at least look at what you're doing with a new set of eyes. Go into situations as if you're seeing it for the first time. And actually, if you want to get all metaphysical and spiritual, A Course in Miracles teaches you to look at situations with a new set of eyes. Look at people who have been triggers for you in the past as if you're seeing them for the first time. Because we carry with us so much data based on past experiences with people or things, and we bring them into the current situation with that person. Think about an easy thing. Think about a sibling or your parent, right? And all the things that you know from your past that have brought you to here. What if you forgot about those, and the next time you saw a person, you saw them for who they are now, not carrying along all the baggage that's related to that person for you, right? So all of that is kind of brought into this. So getting new eyes on things. If you guys don't have a success partner, maybe now's the time to do it so you can bounce ideas off each other. I know Lindsay and Hannah are constantly presenting things to each other hey, how do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Or does this work? That stuff works. Jess and Brandy, they've been really, really good counterparts for each other too, because they present new ideas to people. So it doesn't have to be someone on this team either. It can be somebody on another team. Or post it in the team page. You guys, I've been doing this type of challenge group for so long. Does anybody have any other ideas? Don't just come with a complaint. Come with potential solutions or specific questions that you need guidance on. But that's the action that gets to be taken. And you guys, if it's your own body, if it's something that's going on with here's the thing. Here's the God honest truth. Shakeology is the freaking best meal you can put in your body, in my, very biased opinion, but based on good research and good education and good personal feedback from my body, which, as I've shared, has its moments. And our fitness programs are incredible. They are life-changing. They are transformative, but they are also tools that can be added to the toolbox along with other tools. I needed other tools. I needed tools for healing. I needed to bring in professionals now. I needed to bring in outside people that can help me with the stuff that I can't help myself with. And sometimes we need that. So that's the action we get to take. It doesn't have to be monumental. You don't have to go do a whole life-altering thing. But just by taking slightly different action, you might have life-altering experiences, right? It didn't take too much for me to actually text my friend and say, who is that PT that you go to for your pelvic PT, and have her give me the name and then Google how to get in contact with them and then go there, right? It didn't take too much of an effort, but it's been pretty world shifting. I literally am looking at that whole functional aspect of my body, which I think I know so well, and I do. Nobody knows your body better than you, but I don't know how to fix everything. There are other people that do. Just like with your businesses, you know your business and you know what feels good better than any other human. But you may not know how to fix every situation. You may not know how to best respond to every situation. That's when you lean in. That's when you ask for support. That's when you take proactive action. And some of that proactive action is asking for help. And it's rewiring how you do things, right? Like one final quick example, like, there are people out there that run 30-day challenge groups every single month, forever and ever, amen. And there are people out there that run one challenge group and they add people to it and it's ongoing. And you got to do what works for you. But I also encourage you, don't get stuck doing something because you feel like that's always what worked for me and I should keep doing that. If something else feels like it might be more exciting, if something else feels like it might flow better, if something else feels like it might provide you the opportunity to provide other people with a deeper sense of service. Okay. Thoughts, comments, questions. What do you got for me? I kept the water full this time. I can just keep drinking. I'll go back and read comments and just make sure I haven't missed anything. Rachel said, the more real, the better. Then Sharon's telling me that, holy crap, that's a lot of poop, like legit. Holy crap. Jess is saying, yeah, Jess, I highly recommend. I mean, especially after baby, like, and here's the other thing, just for like a small, like pelvic area after pushing out human plugs. If you sprain your ankle or like if you tear a muscle like in your wrist, like what are you going to do? You're going to get a cast on it and you're going to rehab it and you're going to take care of it. Like with that area, it's like and yes, it's true. You have to suddenly like start taking care of a tiny human and you do get put on the back burner, but it's not. If there seems to be issues, it really can't just be a stitch it up and go and live your life and like have this. And I've got a little bit of dysarthria. It's not really intense, but like don't forget about that area because it's literally called your core because it's the core. So that's just my little female self-care plug. Does that mean like no sex? What do you mean? I had a C-section, so I never dealt with the tearing part of it. Yeah. So I'm like, what do you mean? For rehab. So kind of, I think it depends on different people. For me personally, it has meant like scaling back on that because also like I do have tightness and tension and scar tissue that needs to be worked out too. But what I have learned, and even going into today, because I was like, where do we go with this? Like there's a lot of external work that needs to be kind of dealt with first before that real like deep internal like at the site work is even, anything will even come of that. Because we can do the work right there, but if I can't release tension at all, then that work is going to be really Band-Aid-ish. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, we can turn that into a metaphor too. Like you might think it's one thing, but actually if you go a little bit deeper and you deal with the problem there first, you'll be better able, the superficial problem will be better served and will be better dealt with more quickly. And guys, we can help our challengers with these things. Maybe not exactly the pelvic floor thing, but like anything, right? Like whatever, like, somebody who's saying, I simply cannot meal prep. I cannot meal prep. Why can't you meal prep? Well, because that would require forward thinking on healthy meal planning, and I've never done that. And I've eaten out of boxes and packages for years and years and years. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Why have you done that? Well, because it was easier for me to count calories that way. And I used to be really overweight. And when I can count calories according to the package, I feel more confident. But I know those are filled with tons of chemicals and I don't want to do that to my body anymore. Okay, so are you willing to learn about clean eating, about healthy eating, right? Like this just keeps going and going and going. And ultimately, you guys, here's like the big like news flash, like spoiler alert, it all comes down to worthiness. It all comes down to worthiness, really, truly, no matter what the issue is. And it's not like you have to go that deep all the time in like the initial conversation, but guiding people and allowing for people to know that you see them, and you feel them, you hold space for them. That's everything. That's everything. And teaching them that, yeah, you might think that you can't food prep, but actually you're holding on to some deep-seated fears about weight that may have been given to you when you were a little girl, right? Like you may not have even actively chose that. So it's, it's allowing for you guys to know that you can go deeper with your challengers. You can actually help them get at the core. You can help them to rewire their habitual way of thinking, to bring back the full story, right? Like you can actually help them to rewire their trained behavior of running in and out of the bathroom and not spending any time and relaxing on the toilet and letting your body do what it's supposed to do. Meant to do. Not, you guys know I don't like the word supposed to, but like meant to do. You can be that person for people. And most importantly, you can be that person for yourself. Right? I saw another comment pop up. Colleen says, I'm still learning how to reply to the healthy is too expensive response. I know, because here's the thing also, right? We don't want to, people are going to put their defenses up. Like they don't want to go there right away, right? Like they don't want to feel like, oh, like it's too expensive is super easy. You don't have to talk about any dark stuff with that, right? You don't have to dig anything up with that. But, I ask questions like, expensive compared to what? What are you comparing it to? Because expensive is subjective. So it is expensive compared to, I don't know, like a 99-cent Mountain Dew. It is expensive compared to that. It's not expensive compared to heart surgery. It's not expensive compared to rehab or, like things like that. So, and it's not expensive compared to, I'm not even going to go there with that, but it's not expensive compared to like trying to figure out what's going on. So having to get the colonoscopy and the lab work and, like it's not, it's $4 a day. It's a healthy meal as opposed to what you are doing. Anyone else have a good response to that?
I think that's perfect.
Reminding people too that, going back to the worthiness, like, okay, maybe it's more expensive than you're used to spending right now, but what are you worth? I literally have said to people who have said like, well, I drink this shake because it's less expensive. I'm like, do you really deserve something that's less expensive? Mm-hmm. Is that what your value on yourself is? You want the second rate version? That's bold, you guys, but it's freaking changed a lot of lives. Maybe some of you in here I've had that conversation with. That has changed a lot of lives. Here's the thing, you guys. You don't have to be mean about it, but you do have to be convicted in it. And you do have to be willing to have the tough conversation that that person's not willing to have with themselves yet. So if someone says it's too expensive, or yeah, I went with this shake instead because it's cheaper. I hate the word cheaper. And I'll say, well, are you worth cheaper? Do you value your health at the rate of cheaper? I don't. And that's not hoity-toity. I just know, like, I don't want to go and pick the second best thing for my health because it's cheaper. Bring it back to value. Bring it back to value. That's a great question, Colleen. Tough conversations. That's where I run and hide under my rock. Why? Why, Amanda?
I don't know. I'm just like so shy, and I think that I'm not used to like. I feel too pushy, I think.
But what if it's not about you?
This is true.
Has nothing to do with you, actually. It has everything to do with that person, right?
Right. Yeah.
I know. And you guys, it's a skill. It's a skill. It's a learned thing. And Amanda, thank you for being vulnerable enough to say that, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people here are like, yeah, that's me too. Right. And it was me too. But then I was at Summit once and I heard, Rachel, it might have been our first one. I heard one of the presenters say, I didn't want to hold someone else's options or health captive in my own mouth. And I was like, oh, right. Actually, because when they are pushing back, it's kind of like they're kind of like really, really, really affirming that they need help. And yeah, like it's a difficult conversation, but at the end of the day, they need to hear the truth. And you know what it is. You know what's worked, and it has nothing to do with you. Right? Amanda, what else? What else can I help with that? Because I feel like we can go a little bit deeper with that.
I don't know. There's just so much.
No, it's good. It's good. I know. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but like you're a freaking rock star, and I know that you feel convicted in what you do.
Yeah, it's just I've gotten the it's too expensive and I can't afford that, and I have kids, and I think that's kind of where I shy away because like I don't have kids. I still live at home. Like there's so many things that I don't run a household. Like so I do have that extra money in that sense, but like so I don't
Send them my way.
Yeah, like I can't relate to the I have 2 kids and so that's hard for me too.
So that's thank you for saying that, because that and this again is going to get kind of like Course in Miracles ish, but like that is assuming that you are separate from that person, and that one of you is better than the other just because you've got differences. So what if you recognize like we're not separate at all? Yeah, we have different things going on, but we are still 2 humans wanting to live fulfilling, healthy lives. And I have something that I can really share with them. I'm not separate from that person. Right? So I've done that too. Like I can't possibly guide this person. We're not walking in the same shoes. But actually, none of us are, and all of us are at the same time. So we're not separate from people. We can guide people with our different experiences, and here's the thing, like your mom of 2 who's running a household, she wants to feel healthy too. And she's even conversing with you because she sees something within you and she feels connected to you in some way, shape, or form. So, right. And like, same thing. So for me, like I am a mom of 2 kids, like, but if I see somebody who is not a mom, Rachel, right? Like, look at Rachel, right? Like, I didn't look at Rachel and be like, oh, she's in college. She doesn't have kids. She can't possibly use this. She can't possibly afford this. She's in college, right? Like, if I would have already made up the story of how it was going to end in my head, she wouldn't be here crushing it. Amanda, so like you wouldn't be here, right? Because of the ripple effect.
I know, literally though.
Holy cow. So I just think it's really cool to think of in terms of like we sometimes like we create the ending in our own head of the story that we haven't even allowed to play out yet.
Mm.
And I feel like sometimes if I'm especially, well, Julian like didn't know me. It's not like we like knew each other before. Like we did not know each other at all. She was this random chick like messaging me. So I feel like, Amanda, sometimes when things like that come in, I like, and maybe this isn't necessarily healthy, but I kind of like play in my head, okay, like what is the worst possible thing? Like let's just say they're like, oh my gosh, you're the worst person ever. I hate you. Like let's say, they're never going to say that, but like let's say that they do. What can I do? I can block them and probably never see them again in my life. And I can forget they ever existed. You know what I mean? Like what's the worst thing that's going to happen? And when I say like that, I'm like, okay, that's not even going to happen. You know, when you start to play it out, it's like, okay, you know, even if they ghost me, like they don't respond, oh well, you know, there's someone else. And I can't tell you, I mean, doing this for like, this is my 3rd year, people who have come back who have said straight out no to me in the most awkward way, and I've been like, oh, like who have come back. Like I just had someone message me the other day who I talked to literally 2 years ago and was like, hey, I'm really thinking I'm more interested in Shakeology now. And I like hadn't talked to her recently. Like, so you just gotta like put it out there and like and think about what's the worst that could happen, and kind of makes you feel better.
I know. So the only thing is, so like last year I had messaged this girl, and at that time she only had 1 baby, and we had been talking for like a month or like however long, and then she finally was like agreeable. She wanted to do it. She was ready to do it. And then when we were like getting her set up, she just like, it was like just crickets, you know. And then a couple of weeks ago, like I had reached out again like months later in the year and never heard anything. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then a couple of weeks ago, I clicked on her message. It was like right after I posted that 15-day transformation. And I had clicked on a message because she liked the post. I was just going to like reach out again. And it turns out it was the same date that I originally messaged her the first time. So
that's
like
so funny.
It was so weird. So I was like, I don't know. So I did it again. We've been talking now for a couple weeks, and she's like, I'm so sorry. Last time, like I found out I was pregnant with my 2nd baby. So I was like, okay, like no worries. She's like, I'm ready now. Like let's do it. So we like figured out which program she was gonna do, figured out what shake, and then now like again crickets. So I'm just like, I don't know, like.
Well. And here's the thing, like that has everything to do with her and nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And don't we get really good at creating these fairy tales of, oh my gosh, she thinks I'm the most horrible person and I'm so annoying and why is she doing this again? Oh, it's because I'm just awful. And it's like, actually, maybe she's pregnant again.
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody died. Or maybe, I mean, right, like that's just morbid, but like, seriously, maybe she lost power and she like maybe her or one of her 2 kids like threw her phone in the toilet and she, you know, like it really could be anything. Or it can be that she's embarrassed because she suddenly feels like she can't again and she doesn't want to face you because she's done it before. So like I know it's painful, but when you forget that oh no, when you remember, like, oh yeah, wait, it's not about me, it's about her. All of it. It's just so powerful. And you're like, oh yeah, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. I think that's important too. Like just always take it back to that. Yeah. Like whenever you're having difficult conversations, just always take it back to like, okay, am I doing this with good intention? And if you can answer yes to that, then keep doing what you're doing. Am I being honest with myself? Am I being true to myself? Am I actually literally like spreading love, trying to help this person? If you feel icky about your conversations, because have felt that way before, like, and I've had to ask myself, like, okay, Lindsay, do you actually, like, are you actually caring about this person in this moment? And at times I haven't. And like, that's when I shut my computer down, because I'm like, right now, all I want is the commission, to be totally honest, you know? And like, when you're in that space, shut it down, because that's not a way to go about it. And that's okay, because we're obviously all going to feel that way at some point. But so like, that's what I do. If I'm having trouble, like, I just ask myself, like, am I doing this with good intention right now? Am I doing this in a place of love? And if the answer is yes, then that's awesome, and you keep going. And if the answer is no, then you take a step back. So that's what I like to do.
It's so perfectly said, and it really reiterates, like, we always get so worried about like coming across as a slimy like car salesman or whatever, but like, actually, you guys, like, I'm sorry, but if you're on this team, that's not even in your DNA. Like, that's not even an option for you. Like, you're just not like that. Because even when you get in those moments where we all do, of like, ooh, this is actually way more about me, I'm making it way more about me, like Lindsay said, like, then we walk away from it, because our integrity, and I can say that wholeheartedly for every single person on this team, our integrity means everything to us. And when we are feeling out of alignment from that, we feel itchy, we feel, so like, don't forget that. Like, actually, you're not coming across like that at all, because that's not even a part of you. Like, that's not even an option for you. That's not within your very being at all. And it's just like practicing with the conversations, and it's just deciding that you're going to be brave enough to make it completely about the other person. And we know we've got the best. So why do they not deserve to hear that?
Mhm.
So good, Amanda. Oh my gosh, I wish I could just give you a big hug right now. Thank you for being so open with those questions.
Thanks for all the help.
Gosh, you got anything else for us? I can keep going. Okay, Hannah, she's giving kisses to you.
Oh, God.
Oh, Colleen. Okay, I'm reading Colleen's message. I feel like I screen potential customers by looking at their social media pages and asking myself if I think they can afford it or not. I think that's hurting me more than helping, for sure. I used to do this all the time. And like, oh, that person's not. Don't hold back. Seriously, talk to anyone and everyone. The people, honestly, you, Colleen, surprised me when you said yes. Like, I was like, no, she's not going to want to do this. This is not her thing. Like, no. And like, some of the people, some of my customers, some of the coaches on my team, like, I did not think that this was going to be their thing. And it is. So don't make, what's it called? Preconceived notions.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. But I feel like we've all done this, right? Like,
Yeah, Hannah, totally.
oh, not that person.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in college, they probably won't buy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Seriously. You never know.
Don't decide for other people, you guys.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Don't make the decision for them. Let them make the decision. I did this the other day. I asked, so for my life and business coaching business, I'm hosting a retreat coming up in April. And I asked one of my really awesome friends from like that world if she would be a guest speaker at my retreat. And she came back with, oh, it's my husband's birthday. Let me talk to him and let me figure it out. And I was like, oh, like that, no, like don't take away from his birthday. And she said this. And so I want this all to resonate. She goes, don't say no for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's your decision. Like, you can decide. Like, I'm not going to say no for you. So like, same thing, like, don't say no for somebody else. And guess what? She's coming and speaking at my retreat, and it's going to be bomb. So like, don't say no for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag don't say no. Actually, no, that's not a very good hashtag. People might put that in a whole different context. We could come up with a lot of interesting hashtags based on this conversation today.
Hashtag poop 2 feet. That's what
Hashtag You shouldn't have to push.
It shouldn't be this hard.
Oh, so many different ways to go with that one. Oh, good, Colleen. I'm glad.
Yeah.
What did? Just making sure. Yes, Riley, so true. Dude, this is so good. Does anyone have anything else? What action are you going to take now to start rewiring things for you?
I'm totally going to stop screening people's social media pages.
That's good. That's good. That's rewiring right there.
I think too, you guys, I think there's a lot as far as conversations go. Like, I feel like I've learned a lot over the past, 2 years? Has it been 2 years? 2 years, yeah. And just like really getting, 2 years. I talk about this a lot, but I just feel like you really need to get yourself into the right frame of mind prior to sending out messages. There are certain things in this business that we can kind of do, not mindlessly, but, like with a little bit less full thought. But I think sending messages and like having conversations, like that is how we build our relationships. We build our team. Like that's really important. And so, and I used to think like, okay, whatever, I'm just chit chatting. And you are, when you're having those ongoing conversations with people, but it really is important to like be in a good space and make sure that you are talking to this person because you really truly do want to get to know them. And you really do want to understand what, they're dealing with. And you want to like actually have that conversation. So I think like a really good action step for people that might struggle in the conversation area of what we do is getting yourself like getting into some sort of a habit, whatever it is that you might do. Some people listen to personal development, some people listen to music, some people, there's all different things that you can do, but like, what can you do that's going to get you into the right frame of mind so that you can have good conversations with people? And try not to just do it like on the fly. Try to do it really intentionally. And I promise it's going to feel a lot better, like a lot better. And I do this, like, I still sometimes like have these conversations on the fly and I can tell like when I am actually sitting down to, again, be intentional, like intentionally spread love, intentionally share what I'm passionate about and what, really matters to me and what I want to share with people. There's a big difference in the way that I feel. And when I feel really good and when I'm feeling really passionate and really vibing, the people that I'm talking to are going to feel that way too. So I think like, again, if this is a place that you struggle, like Colleen, Amanda, like try to play around with different ways that you can get ready to have these conversations with people. It might take a little bit more work, but I think, honestly, I think it's really, really worth it. You could have like a 5-minute little ritual, whatever, that makes you feel good. And so you're putting that good energy out to whoever it is that you're talking to. That really helps me. I talk about this all the time about my love spreading, but I do it and it makes me feel good before I have conversations. And then I just get on a roll. So that's what I do. I scroll through my Facebook and I spread love on people's posts and I comment and, whatever. And then I do that for 5 minutes and then I start messaging people. And for me, that's what works. Might not work for you guys, but it makes me feel really good and it makes my conversations feel really good. So.
Can I add something to Lindsay?
Yep.
Of course.
So
Of course you can, Hannah. We look like twins.
Yeah, we're twins tonight with our hair and our glasses. So I used to have the same issue, and I almost feel like I had to go through those conversations with people who I didn't really vibe with or who I didn't like. I kind of had to like find whoever I could have conversations with when I started being a coach because I needed to know what a conversation that didn't sound easy and didn't sound right, Like I needed to feel that so I could know for the future what my real and right conversations needed to feel like. So I'm glad that I messaged everyone and anyone when I first became a coach, because it taught me what a good conversation will sound like and feel like. And I came to a point with coaching that I hated responding to people. I was like, oh my gosh, I have 7 messages to respond to. This is so annoying. And that's not fair to the person on the other side that wants my help. They can sense that. And it's not fair to them to feel my annoyingness for this conversation. So I started, when I visualized in the morning for my miracle morning, I started visualizing myself opening my laptop with joy. And like literally just like I would picture myself opening and being like, I love responding to people. I love messaging people. And like I did that for like a whole week. No, 2 weeks. I don't even know how long it was. But now every time I open my laptop, I'm excited to respond to people. And it was just like, why couldn't I just change my mindset and visualize that I'm enjoying this? And even if I know there's a weird conversation going on, like someone's like rejecting or objecting or whatever, I still enjoy responding to them because they're still getting something out of our conversation. It might just be a tip to how to work out or a tip to drink more water, but they're still getting something out of it.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that. And I'm grateful for the conversations that I just word vomited like 4,000 sentences all at once. And then I was like, oh, that was a terrible conversation. That sucked. Won't do that again. Right? Like all of it, it's all learning, you guys, but you're not going to learn anything if you don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So perfect. Thank you guys both so much. Hey guys, to answer Colleen's question, who is coming to the main Super Saturday in April?
Not me.
Hannah's going to be there. Rach, Jess, Riley. Okay, cool.
Oh man, maybe I have to come.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm working, but yeah, whatever.
I'll be in Punta Cana.
Oh,
Ooh, fun.
I wish I would be there.
Lindsay, just take the day off. Put in for a vacation day.
Well, or quit.
Yeah, that too.
That too. I mean, you know my vote. Megan Davies is going to be there, so that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Is that the same? Is that the Woodlands?
No, it's at the Point.
It's
a new place. It's right by the mall, right in South Portland. So I've never been in there, but it's like really big, and they've got a big field that we're going to work out on, and like a big conference area inside. So it should be fun.
Cool.
Yep. All right, sisters. I'm quitting my job too, Hannah. When? For real?
We made a quitting pact.
Oh. It's a fun pact.
Anyone else want in?
Oh my gosh, look at the hands go up. Talk about rewiring.
That is a whole nother conversation.
All right, well, we can have that conversation another time then. You guys, you're amazing. Thanks for letting me go there with the conversation tonight, and hopefully it helped you on a number of different levels, because like it really blew my freaking mind today, let me tell you what. So hopefully it helped you as well. Oh, you guys are all amazing. I love you so much. If I can do anything for you, you know where to find me. And I also did a post earlier today about life and business goals, and cheers to Colleen for being the one human being to respond to that. I challenge and encourage everyone here to go and at least put something on there, so that you have something to look forward to. You have something to work towards. It doesn't have to be high pressure. It can be, Amanda, it can be something as simple as the next time a difficult conversation comes up to like deal with it, or to visualize with joy, right? Like something like that. It doesn't have to be a monumental thing, although that feels really monumental, right? But it doesn't have to be in terms of like rank or income, or we often go there with goal setting. It doesn't have to be that. It can be anything, you guys.
Oh, I have one more thing to say about Amanda's thing. Sorry, but if you guys ever come into like a conversation with someone who you can't like relate to like that, like Amanda, seriously, like if you ever wanted to like have this girl like talk to me or to Jillian or to somebody, or like you don't have to necessarily send them to us, but you can say, hey, like I have a friend who also has, or on my team that also has 2 kids, and she deals with these kinds of struggles, and let me talk to her and see what she has to say. And just message me and I'll write something up and you can send it to her. Someone asked me for something, maybe it was Krista, I don't remember. Someone asked me about that. Like, hey, I have a friend who is a mom and like doesn't know how she can do this. So can you explain how you do it? And like, I was
That's
like,
such a good idea.
I didn't
even think of that.
Yes. So like, seriously, use the team. Like we are all here. And the cool thing about our team, like about probably all the teams, like everyone's so different, you know? So you can like we can help each other out. You don't have to be the same.
No, it's so true. Thank you for saying that. Because I've done that too a million times. Like, hey, what would you say to this? And I've literally like, here's what I would say based on my own experiences, and hugely helpful.
Yeah, and it's really cool for people to see, like, again, you do this alongside people who are moms, people who are 60 years old, men, women, like whatever, you know, it just shows that, again, health and wellness is really honestly for everybody. So,
well, and think about that. You would do that. I mean, if you're not a vegan, you would ask a vegan for their input if somebody asked you a question about that. So same thing.
That's so true.
So good. Lindsay Heafy for the win. Excellent. All right, loves. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for a really inspiring conversation. And kisses to you too, Hannah. All right, I love you guys. Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.